Hello, welcome to 30-minute flow. We're going to start standing up today at the back of our mat. Feet are hip width apart. Take a deep breath in, bend your knees, hands go up to the sky, and reach down to the ground, forward fold, hinging at your hips. Let your head hang heavy. You can cross your arms if you like. Make sure there's a slight bend in your knee. You can rock back and forth from side to side. And make your way down to tabletop position. Inhale in, and we're going to drop our belly down to the ground, arching our back. Exhale, round your back up through your shoulders. Exhale, drop your belly down. Stretch your shoulders out, stretch your neck out. You can move around here however you like. Round your back. And drop your belly down again. Round your back again. All the way up through your shoulders, through your neck. Drop your belly down, creating an arch in your back. Inhale, round up. And exhale, drop your belly down. Stretch out the shoulders and neck, wiggle around a bit. Now we're going to come up into downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Stretch out your calf muscles here by bending each leg, each knee. You can bend them one at a time or both at the same time. Inhale, bring your right leg up to the sky, bend your knee. This is stretching our hips. We're going to move our leg around in circles now, and then reverse directions. Release your leg down, lift your left leg up to the sky, bend your knee, move it around in circles, stretching that hip, and reverse directions. Be gentle when you do this. And you don't have to do this if you don't like, it's optional. Okay, now we're going to go into plank position and slowly lower down to our mat. Lift our head up into cobra, stretching out our stomach. Hips go up and back into child's pose. Knees are at the edges of our mat, our toes are touching, creating a V shape. Our hands and arms are outstretched in front of us with our forehead resting on our mat. For an added stretch in your shoulders, you can imagine that you're holding a tennis ball in each hand and you're gripping the mat with your fingertips, digging your fingertips into your mat. Now push up into tabletop and then all the way up into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up, bring it in. Right leg up to the sky. Hug it into your chest. Lift it up to the sky again. Hug it into your chest and then place it down in between your hands on your mat. Inhale, stand up into warrior one. Right leg is out in front of us. Relax your shoulders. can breathe in here, lift your shoulders up, back and down, away from your ears. And we're going to move into Warrior Two. Right arm is out in front of us, left arm is behind us. Reverse Warrior, bring your left arm back to rest on your left knee, right arm is up to the sky. And bring it down. Step the right leg back. Now we're in plank. Slowly lower down to your mat. Come up into Cobra, stretching the stomach muscles. Push up, back and down with your hips into downward facing dog. Left leg up to the sky, hug it into your chest. Back up to the sky, hug it tightly into your chest and lift it up to the sky again. Hug it into your chest and place it in between your hands on your mat. Stand up into Warrior One. Left leg is out in front of us, right leg is back behind. Our gaze is over our left leg. Arms are up to the sky. Exhale into Warrior Two. Make sure your back leg is at a bit of an angle. It's not parallel to the front leg. Reverse Warrior. Left arm is up to the sky. And bring it down to your mat. Step back into plank. Slowly lower down to your mat. Lift up into Cobra. Downward facing dog. Right leg up to the sky. Bring it up in between your hands. Inhale to Warrior One. Make sure your back left leg is not parallel. It's at a bit of an angle. Shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale in and exhale. Reverse Warrior, drop your left arm back, right arm is up to the sky. Now we bring our left arm up to the sky. Right arm is barely resting on our right knee. We're not putting our weight in our arm. It's in our leg. And come down into plank. Slowly lower down to your mat. Cobra, stretching our stomach. Downward facing dog. Left leg up to the sky. Bring it up in between your hands. Stand up into Warrior One. Inhale. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. See if you can go deeper into that stretch. Now into Warrior Two. Inhale in and exhale, release it into Reverse Warrior. Left arm up to the sky, right arm is gently resting on our leg. Now left arm goes down and gently rest on our left leg, right arm up to the sky. And bring it back down into plank. Squeeze your stomach, slowly lower down. Lift your chest up into Baby Cobra, stretching that stomach. And come back onto your feet. We're going to go into Modified Child's Pose. Take a minute, stretch it out here if you need to. Our knees are together. And we're just going to lower our forehead to the mat. Arms are behind us. Slowly come out of that pose into tabletop and then push your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Right leg up to the sky, hug it into your chest and place it in between your hands. Stand up into Warrior One. Right leg is out in front of you, left leg is behind you. Excuse me, Warrior Two. Reverse Warrior. And side angle, left arm is up to the sky. Now we're going to come into Warrior Three for balancing pose. Put all your weight into your right leg and lift that left leg up. Make sure your back is straight. Your gaze is down towards the ground. Your hands are out to your sides for extra balance, or you can hold them by your hips if that helps you balance. Lower your leg down. Forward fold, stretch it out. Your feet are hip width apart right now. Step back into plank. Slowly lower down to your mat. Stretch up into cobra. Push back into downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Step up in between your hands. Inhale, Warrior Two. Left leg is out front. Your gaze is over your left fingertips. Reverse Warrior, bring your left arm up to the sky. Now bring it down and your right arm goes up to the sky. Make sure your weight is in your leg. Slowly inch up and transfer all your weight into your left leg, and then bring your right leg up. We're going to balance here. Place your arms out beside you or at your hips. Your gaze is a little bit in front of you at the ground. Release the stretch and bend at your hips down into a forward fold, stretching out your low back. Slowly stand up. Now we're going to come to the back of our mat and get ready for pigeon. Lower down to a seated position on your knees. Come up into a bit of a plank. Your left leg is going to stay where it is. Bring your right leg up and bend it at the knee and to try to make it a 90-degree angle. Your left leg is back behind you. This is stretching out your hips. You can stay here if you like, or if you need more of a stretch, you can slowly lower down to the ground. This pose is a hip opener, and so you will feel this in your hips, and if it's ever too much, just come out of the pose, and you can always take a break in child's pose or just lay flat on your back and just take a minute to breathe. Now we're going to switch sides. Slowly come up, bring your right leg back, bend your left leg at the knee, and try to get it as close to a 90-degree angle as you can. Right leg is out behind you. Slowly lower down if you'd like more of a stretch here. Inhale in, and as you exhale, try to drop your chest down to the ground even further. Slowly start to come out of the pose. Make your way to a seated position down on your bottom in the middle of your mat. And put your legs out in front of you. Straighten out your left leg with a slight bend at your knee, and then go ahead and bend your right knee and twist over that right knee. Your right palm is down, resting on the ground. Your left arm is just gently resting on your knee. Your gaze is over your right arm. Release it and switch legs. Bend that left knee. Twist slightly over to the left. Right palm is down on the ground. And release the stretch. Now we're going to stand up. Make your way to the back of your mat. Feet are hip width apart. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, lower down into chair pose. Your arms are up by your ears, straight out in front of you. Think of this as like a squat. Make sure your knees never go over your feet. Release it, stretch down to the ground, hinging at your hips. Walk it out into plank. Slowly lower down to your mat. Inhale into cobra, push back into downward facing dog. Right leg up to the sky. Bring it in. Step in between your hands. Inhale into warrior one. Inhale in and release down into a high lunge. And shift back, stretching out that right leg. Make sure your right foot is flexed. And hinge forward into dragon pose. Make sure your knee never goes over your toes. Your palms are face down on your mat, just on the inside of your right leg. You can lower that left leg down to the ground if you need to. Now we're going to switch. Bring your left leg up. Right leg is behind you. Stretch that left leg out. Left foot is flexed. Shift forward and come up into high lunge. Your arms are on the inside of your left leg. Palms are resting on the ground. We're stretching out that left hip. You can lower your leg down to the ground now. Come into tabletop position and we're going to push back into child's pose. Your toes are touching and your knees are at the edges of your mat. You can exhale, lower down, and walk your hands over to your left side. This is going to give us a gentle side stretch. Now walk your hands over to the right side, stretching out that other left side. Bring your hands back to center and slowly come up. We're going to do a few shoulder rolls and neck rolls here at your own pace, at your own time, stretching out that neck and those shoulders. Now we're going to slowly roll up into a standing position, one vertebrae at a time. Now come to the center of your mat. We're going to do a balancing pose called tree pose. Put all your weight into your left leg and bring your right leg up. It can rest on your calf, it can rest down on the ground, or you can bring it up to your thigh. Lots of options here. Take whichever option you need. You can also rest it on top of your right thigh or your left thigh instead of to the side. You can have your hands out to the side. You can rest your hands on your hips or lift them up to the sky. That always helps me keep my balance. Lower that leg down, shake it out. We're going to switch legs. Make sure all your weight is in your right leg. Once you have your balance, slowly bring your left leg up. You can leave it down at your ankle. You can bring it up to your calf or up to your thigh. Our arms are out at our side. Inhale, roll your shoulders up, back and down, away from your ears. Stand up tall. And release it and shake it out. In the center of your mat, make sure your feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart. Inhale in, bend your knees, arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold at the hips all the way down to your mat. Your palms are resting on your mat into wide angle, forward fold. We're going to stretch out our back here, specifically our low backs and our legs. Walk your hands over to your left side. Make sure there's a slight bend in your knees here. And switch. Walk your hands over to your right side, keeping that bend in your knees. Walk your hands back to the center. Heel toe your feet into hip width apart and let your head dangle and forward fold. You don't have to cross your arms here, but it always helps me just deepen the stretch if my arms are crossed. Slowly come up, one vertebrae at a time, into a standing position. Inhale, bring your shoulders up, back and down into mountain pose with your palms out to the side. Inhale, arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, act like you're sitting down into a chair. Your arms are up in front at the same level as your ears. For an added challenge, you can come up onto your toes here. This is going to help with our balance and our strength. Whenever you're in chair pose, you want to protect your knees and make sure they're not going over your toes. So just be aware of that here. Release the stretch, bend at your hips, down to the ground. Bring your hands to your shins into half forward fold. This is really good for your posture. Your back is straight here. Your gaze is down to the ground. And forward fold at your hips. Inhale, bend your knees, raise your arms up to the sky. And exhale, release your arms. Now make your way to the back of your mat. We're going to lower down into a plank position and push up into downward facing dog. Stretch out your legs here, bending your knees. Plank. Slowly lower down to the ground. Lift your chest into cobra. Push your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Back to plank. Slowly lower to your mat. Lift your chest into cobra, back into downward facing dog. Right leg goes up to the sky. Hug it in to your chest and place it in between your hands. Inhale up into warrior one. Inhale, relax your shoulders down. See if you can bend your knee even farther into that stretch. Inhale and exhale into warrior two. Your gaze is over your right fingertips. And reverse warrior, bring your right arm up to the sky. Left arm is back behind you. Inhale, bring your left arm up to the sky. Drop your right arm down, gently resting it on your right knee. Bring your palms down, step back into plank, and slowly lower down to your mat, keeping your core tight and engaged. Chest up into cobra, push up and back into downward facing dog. Left leg up to the sky, hug it in and bring it in and place between your hands. Inhale up into warrior one. See if you can notice that it's easier getting into warrior one and warrior two this time around. Towards the end of your practice, you should feel a little bit more flexible. It should be a little bit easier getting in and out of the poses. Reverse warrior, left arm goes up to the sky. And side angle, left arm down, resting gently on that left knee. Right arm is up to the sky. Fingertips are reaching up as high as they can. Palms down to the ground, step back into plank. Now we're going to lower down into our final pose. Child's pose. So make sure your knees are out to the edges of your mat, your toes are touching, making that V shape. Arms are straight out in front of you, forehead is resting on your mat. If this is too much of a stretch, you can bring your knees in, make sure they're touching. You can also bring your arms down to your sides if that's too much, stretching around your shoulders and neck. Take a few minutes here to just relax. Give yourself thanks for stretching your body. Slowly come up into a seated position in the middle of your mat. You can cross your legs if you like. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky and down to heart center. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.